That. I'm your host, Andrew, doing something a little more simple today. It's just me going straight live. As you can see with the title, there was a historic law that was actually passed in Kentucky that allows women to collect child support on unborn fetuses. Yeah, let's get into this. All right, so I have everything pulled up. Hold on, Daddy Duty's call. What's up? I'm live.
I said, how much can your two jobs make?
We're not talking about that right now. I need you to go get in the bed. Put your 90s on. Close my door. All right, look. I know I'm streaming on Facebook. Where else? Instagram, a few others. So if you're watching, forgive that. Father duty is always going to happen. But let's get to it. All right, so. All right, make sure you hear me good. And the sound effects ain't too loud. Okay. All right, so Kentucky Senate passed this bill granting right to collect child support for fetuses. The Republican-led Kentucky Senate voted overwhelmingly on Tuesday. This is a little while back on March 6th when this article was shared, but just now being able to actually get to it. All right, so the measure would allow a parent to seek child support up to a year after giving birth, retroactively, to cover pregnancy expenses. The legislation Senate Bill 110 won 36-2, so overwhelmingly. Here's my thought process. Let me get back here. So I was thinking, why is there a problem with this law, right? I mean, personally, I hate child support. I think I hate anything concerning child support because I am on child support, but also I think I don't need an order to tell me to take care of my children. I also understand that there is a cost associated with having children, as well as when the woman you choose to have a child with is pregnant. I understand that. And a lot of it can be emotional, just being there for the appointments as best you can and all of that. But I really wanted to understand, where was this aimed at? Because I'm conservative in nature, primarily vote conservative. And I understand where it could be too far right and may put off some people. But again, I wanted to just get to the nitty gritty in my thought process and understand, like, why would they do this? What is the aim, right? Right? Is this to deter men? Because it works. Where's the deterrence for men? On how it deters men is it prevents us from wanting to have children with women we don't decide to be with. Because it's easy to have a baby, but it's hard to take care of a baby. And it's too easy to, let me see if I put this on repeat. Hey, my music stopped. There we go. But I don't want to be negative towards, situations where people just have a child and maybe they don't be together. But I believe there's too many instances where this hookup culture, where you have young women who decide to lay down and, have a child with a man that they're probably not going to be with. And the recourse for them is a lot. I mean, they have so many tools in their disposal. They're not shunned if they decide to say, hey, I don't want this child. Right. There's the law that was passed and reaffirmed, but we'll go to it. So remember, the House passed back in July 15, 2022, ensuring women's right to Reproductive Freedom Act. And just in case if you don't remember, I'm going to read just a little bit of it. So this bill prohibits anyone acting under state law from interfering with a person's ability to access out-of-state abortion services. Abortion services include the use of any drugs that are approved to terminate pregnancies and any healthcare services related to an abortion, whether or not provided at the same time or on the same day. So they have the right to be able to choose to say, hey, I want to terminate this pregnancy, right? They also can choose to keep the pregnancy. And I always think, like, what's in it for men, right? What's in it for us? Like, what if it was just a hookup, right? I mean, we all have had it. We all have been out, had a good time, hooked up with someone. It was never the intention to maintain a life with this person, right? But there's no I should say financial abortion option for men to choose. We can't say, let me abort my my duties to this particular child from conception, because I do agree that life begins at conception. I agree with that. I do wholeheartedly. I don't believe abortion should be an option regardless. I think we should take it off the table, but that's a whole nother conversation. The thing is that I'm not going to condemn women who decide to go down that route, but they have that route to go through. As men, we don't have it. We don't have an option to be like, hey, we don't want to do this. We're instantly condemned and destroyed. We're instantly identified as a deadbeat. Our credit could be ruined, through the child support system. License could be revoked. I mean, so many repercussions from a one night stand, possibly. So I say this, and this is really to young men, older men, or men who are actively out there in the dating culture, sleep with women, and you're able to have children. I'm fixed, so I'm good. Not only am I married, but I am fixed. So my wife and I don't have to worry about that no more. Thank God. I have 6 that I made, but through marriage, I have 7 children. So I decided after my youngest daughter that wasn't going to happen no more. I instantly went and got snips. So if you're not deciding to go down the route of vasectomy, which I understand is not an easy decision to make, you have to understand that there's no laws to protect you. The courts don't care about us men when it comes. They care about the well-being of the child and what's in the best interest of the child, if the child were to be here. That's how decisions are made. Would it be ideal if there was a law that was passed to say, hey, man, you can opt out of having children? Opt out of your financial obligation and having children? I mean, you could just say, hey, this is a one night stand. I don't want nothing to do with it. Let me walk away. I mean, that sounds like perfect. I think that would be a deterrent from women, to say for women to be like, oh my God, if a man can opt out, I really have to be careful who I lay down with. But I'm a realist, and I understand that would never happen. So I say to you men out there who are in the dating world, just understand these laws are going to be passing from state to state. This is just the beginning. There are a few other states that actually passed it. And just to show you, in Alabama, and this is the unlock hack for unlimited money. So in Alabama, the Alabama Supreme Court issued a ruling on February 16th declaring that embryos created through IVF should be considered children. Several of the state's IVF clinics have since paused services, and lawmakers and doctors and patients are raising concerns about the far-reaching implications of ruling on healthcare, including reproductive technology. Now, just to break that down, so they did end up ruling post this that there was no repercussions for the mishandling of IVF. So like healthcare places won't get in trouble or anything like that. But the fact is that they're identifying these embryos as actual children on the same class. So just imagine if you have, let's say Kentucky were to adopt it, or other states that, I live in Ohio, but let's say states adopt that particular line of thought, and you also have where they could collect money for a fetus. I mean, that's an unlimited hack. I mean, for money. Imagine a woman say, well, I want to take my embryos and put it to the side. I want to wait until, so long to have children. I don't know. I mean, I just feel like that it's a win-win for women, regardless if you are pro-choice or against it. If you decide to say, hey, I want to be a mother and I want to take care of my child and I want to, do other, you have all the tools at your disposal. And I believe you should always go the route. If you get pregnant, bring the child in, no matter how hard you may think it is. I don't want to ever discourage a woman to not do that. I mean, I feel like the biggest blessing to me was having my children. I remember not knowing how I was going to do it, and somehow I am doing it. And it's not easy. I'm not going to pretend, but it definitely made me make better decisions moving forward. And the things I tell my children is like, you don't want to have kids at all right now. It costs a lot of money. So, but again, I'm aiming this towards men. Men, again, if you're in the dating world, understand these laws are being passed. They're not to protect you. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care if you get put on child support. They don't care if you fall behind. It does not matter. What it really comes down to is making sure that before you lay down with a woman, you need to take all this into consideration. Each and every time. You have to take it into consideration. There ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. So if you're not cautious and exercising caution at every chance, then, who's the fool? You are. Because I hate to break it to you, and this is why I tell my sons. I always say that you have to take accountability for your actions. You can't expect for someone to come and clean up a decision you made or to pick up the pieces. If you get out in this world and you make a decision, there's consequences, whether that's good or bad. Now, again, I'm not saying the birth of a child is a bad thing, but it's a definite responsibility that you have to understand that if this is not the woman you plan to spend the rest of your life with, this is not a woman that you could see yourself with in any capacity, or you truly don't know this person. You have to understand, even if you decide to break up, this person will have access to your child and their development, meaning on how they would respond to things, how they would act, how they think. They have that direct connection. So you have to consider all of that. I know we, as men, we focus so much on the financial, and it's very important. It's very important to remember that when you have a child, all of those repercussions when it comes to child support. That's a reality. But also, having a child in the world that's going to go out and conduct themselves, they're going to have part of their chromosomes from this woman. And if this woman is crazy and out here and doing all types of stuff, is that who you really want to have your seed with? So I say this, as men, there's only one way we can protect ourselves. It's exercising caution when we interact with women. Understanding that if you want to play in the hookup culture, I get it. Hey man, I was there for a long time. But don't get mad if things don't go your way. Don't get mad if you get put in the system. Don't be here crying, begging the system to be like, hey, you need to pass this law and do all this. Man, they're not going to do it. They're not. They're winning when it comes to child support. They're winning with all the options that they give women. And again, they care about the best interests of the child. But before we dig out of here, I do want to share an interesting conversation I've seen on Reddit. All right, so let me go back here. All right, so this says, this is over a year ago. I love it till time. This like in my office, I create such an atmosphere where I can sit and chill, have a cup of whiskey, have a cigar, just chill. Always keep my environment like a lounge. So I hope you guys are enjoying the content. If you do like it, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We definitely appreciate it. But to keep going. So it says financial abortion. Should men be able to opt out of parenthood? Yeah, the question I posed earlier. So me and a couple of guy friends were having a discussion the other day about how there is no legal opt-out for men when it comes to parenthood. For example, if a woman gets pregnant and doesn't want to carry on with the pregnancy for whatever reason, she can get an abortion. Correct. But if a man doesn't want to carry on with the pregnancy, he doesn't have a choice. Correct. Men can't decide if they want to become parents. That decision is ultimately left to the woman to decide, which is correct. How is that fair? What if she's toxic or abusive? Or if he was raped and she got pregnant? That does happen. Why can't men have the same options as women? So let me pause right here. So the decision ultimately left women to decide. How's that fair? We understand that. What if she's toxic or abusive? Well, to young men, how do you control it? What if she's toxic or abusive? How do you find those things out? Remember the little show with the kids where you ask a question, like rhetorical, waiting for the answer? It's pretty clear. You have to give time. I think that the hookup culture doesn't talk about these instances where you may hook up with someone because you eye fuck them, right? You look at the female like, man, she's bad, like everything I want her. and you don't develop that thought of what would happen if I got her pregnant. What you don't think about that, because we got the dog in us. We're trying to get after it, which is understandable. I mean, this instinct is in most men. So you get after, you get it, and you don't think about that, and you come to find out 3 or 4 months in the relationship, you already got her pregnant. Like, man, this girl toxic. She get a little active if we disagree. What can you do at that point? There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. You have no recourse. I mean, the only thing you can do is what? Not have any more children with her? But just understand that some of these questions that he's asking, a lot of it is preventable. Why can't men have the same option as women? I mean, in this world, I understand it is as it is. I mean, there's no getting beyond that. I mean, would it be ideal for men to be able to choose to opt out? That would be lovely. I would love that. I think it would be a deterrent for women. Just imagine, and let's go back here. Just imagine the situation if, let's say how you have women who get with athletes, right? They get with athletes or get with people with like predominantly a lot of money. They get with these people on the hopes that they know, like, man, I bagged the right one. So if I get with this person, I'm going to get a lot of money, because I mean, it's a come up for them. People was tripping on Drea for having that young guy, getting pregnant by him. But to me, she winning. She made the right move. To me, I would be more upset at the young man. If that was my son, I would be upset at him. Like, dude, out of all the women you go, you're going to get this close to 40-year-old woman. She's still beautiful, taking that from her. But God, come on, man. But I say that it's so easy. As men, we're supposed to be strong. We're supposed to be accountable. We are the leader. For example, if you're running an organization and you're the head of this organization and things fail, even if it's not directly your fault, it's still your fault because you're the head. That's the position of leadership. So as men, we are the leaders of our home. You are the leader in the interaction with that woman. So if things go sour, you have to take accountability. You have to say, man, I chose the wrong one. I slept with the wrong one. I should have gave myself more time. I should have developed a relationship with this person. I should have considered all of these options before I lay down with her. And mind you, things are getting worse now than what they were when I was younger. They're getting more and more options. I mean, for this Kentucky law to be passed, and again, it's not the only state. There's other states that does that. So to allow a woman to be able to collect child support from the time of conception. I mean, what all are you including that? Doctor appointments, all the items that I wonder how they're calculating that. I mean, that's a whole nother dialogue. Do you show receipts like, hey, I spent this, my wife was laughing earlier. She's like, I got to eat for two. And I was laughing like, technically you do, but come on now. You have to eat regardless, So I just think it's a slippery slope. But I know it's one they're willing to slide down because they don't care about that. Definitely, if you look in a conservative state, they're thinking about the well-being of the child, which is most important. So I'm not going to belabor it. I'm not going to beat it down. I think this could be a dissertation written about this, an entire essay, a capstone project. But that's how we do on the T.A.P. Don't forget to tune in this Saturday live with the fellas. We may touch on this, other subjects. We were thinking about hitting a battle of the sexes, on men versus women. Who has it harder? Right? So we're developing the idea and the concept. More to follow here in a few days. But thank you guys for watching. If you like the content, please hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get our subscriber numbers up. We do see a lot of you actually watch the content, but not subscribed. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, so you'll be notified whenever I drop content like this. Until next time, guys, the T.A.P.